So, to start with, let's have a look at the different types of alcohol. Rather than cover every type of alcohol on the planet, we'll only cover the most important ones. Because let's face it, we can explain what some of the more intricate sorts of alcohol are, but in all honesty, you're unlikely to hear about them ever again. So in general, the list and tree of alcohol types can be looked at in the following categories. 1. Fermented beverages. Beers, ales and lagers. Wine, reds, whites, rosés, sparkling and fortified wines, and ciders. Distilled beverages, which includes liquor or spirits like vodka, gin, whiskey, rum, tequila or brandy, and liqueurs. And then there's the other section, cocktail bitters and alcopops. So without further ado, let's get into each separate section. From our tree of alcohol, let's have a look at the beer tree from fermented beverages. They'll go through a fermentation process and some of the most common different types of alcohol that people consume, but they are lower in alcohol content than the distilled counterparts, and so they're much more approachable. Beverages made by fermentation won't exceed 15% in alcohol without being modified somehow. So let's have a look at the beer tree. Of all the alcohols, beer is probably the easiest to grasp as we see it every day. In its simplest sense, beer is a fermented grain juice that sits around 3 to 8% ABV. Any fermented cereal grain is considered a type of beer, but wheat or barley is used in most cases. On top of that, it's also flavored with additional spices, usually hops, to give it different characteristics. There are two main categories of beer, ales and lagers. The difference between the two categories depends on how the beer is made and how the yeast is used during the fermentation process. Generally, ales are fuller in colour and flavour, and lagers are tighter, crisper and cleaner. Types of ales. You've got your pale ales, the most commonly consumed pale ale, lighter than the rest, fuller in flavour and colour than lagers, and very approachable for a lager drinker. Indian Pale Ale, a heavily hopped and high alcohol ABV. They generally range from 6 to 8%. Stouts and porters. Dark coloured ales, almost black. Guinness is the most popular type of stout. English Bitter Ale. Not as bitter as the name suggests, but it's called a bitter ale nonetheless. English bitter ales are usually served warm in cosy English pubs. Amber ales. These are coloured ales. Amber coloured to be precise. Flavours of toffee and caramel are commonly associated with them. Wheat beers. Although wheat beers can be technically made as lagers, they're almost always made as ales. Germany and Belgium make fantastic wheat beers. Types of lagers. Pale lager. The most commonly consumed beer in the world, up around 80%. They're light, clean and crisp. Pilsners. They're a style of pale lager that's been flavoured with a Saaz hop, giving a little bit more flavour and a little bit more bitterness. Finally, the dark lager. Nowhere near as common as the pale lager. They're a dark coloured lager, as the name suggests. Cheers!